Alright, let's talk about the most important skill when it comes to playing pool, and I guarantee every single one of you is capable of doing this. And after watching this video, you will understand why it's so important and why this is actually the only way to improve. If you're not doing that, you won't improve. This is why this video is so important. Well, what the heck am I talking about? I'm actually just talking about visualization. And yes, I know this sounds like such a basic concept and such an obvious thing, and I've done a couple of videos about it, but just hear me out. There are two really important reasons why you want to visualize every single shot when you're playing pool. The first and obvious reason is your brain is actually thinking in images. So before playing any shot on the table, you have to visualize. This means you are seeing in your inner eye in front of you what will happen on the table. So for example, here I'm seeing how the 12 ball drops. I'm seeing how the cue ball comes 1, 2, 3 wells around, hopefully hits where the chalk is. This is what I'm visualizing, and then stops right about here to have a nice shot on the 8 ball. And if I'm doing that, I'm way more likely to achieve the desired outcome because I'm seeing those images in my mind in front of me, and my subconscious mind is taking over and tries to reproduce those pictures. Okay, let's just play the shot and talk about it afterwards. And by the way, it's not important that the cue ball actually hits here. This is the second huge thing why we want to visualize, but we're going to talk about this in the second part of this video. So let's just try to execute this shot. Using a bit of right spin here. And the cue ball hits almost in front of the chalk and stops perfectly here where I've just visualized it. So this is actually the perfect example. I had a clear image in my mind, my subconscious mind, my body tried to reproduce it, and it basically worked out perfectly. So this was actually a really good example. But what happens if we're playing the same shot and if we don't visualize? So let's set it up again, roughly the same, taking the chalk away, and I don't visualize. I just stand behind the shot and I know, well, the cue ball will probably come 3 wells around and somewhere down here. So let's play the shot and see what happens. I'm not visualizing anything, just putting the spin on the cue, playing the shot, and this is actually what I was trying to do. Well, I didn't visualize, I just played the shot, and it's actually perfect that we scratched here, because on this particular shot, if you're not visualizing, this pocket becomes awfully big. But the big question is, what did we learn by playing this shot without visualizing? Did we learn about the cue ball? No, we didn't, because we were just playing a bit of high, a bit of right spin, and the cue ball scratched. So we didn't learn anything. So imagine you would have played the same shot, cue ball like here, you wanna hit here, you play the shot and you're scratching. Then you actually learn something from it because you had a different image in your mind. You were thinking, with this amount of spin, with this amount of speed and this type of stroke, the cue ball will hit here, but it actually hit here. So you can actually adjust and override the wrong information in your brain, because you know, well, if I'm playing it that way and the cue ball scratches, but I want to hit here, then I might have to add more right spin or hit a bit lower on the cue ball. So you actually learn without visualizing, without having an image in your mind. You won't learn anything because you don't have an expectation, your visualization that you can compare with the actual outcome. So there is no way to improve. Imagine you're playing this shot again and you just want to bring the cue ball somewhere here. So for example, like this, just somewhere here. And well, now we have a shot on the 8 ball, but I didn't learn anything. I was just playing high, a bit of right spin. I have a shot on the 8 ball, but I didn't try to control the cue ball, bring it exactly along a line. So I didn't learn anything about the cue ball. Same, for example, here. Let's say we have this type of shot. So our goal is to play a high ball, bring the cue ball to the short rail, and then somewhere to the 8 ball. So again, playing it without visualizing. And now I see, well, the cue ball is traveling exactly to the 8 ball. Because I was just playing high, maybe I added a bit of right spin, and I didn't have a clear expectation. But if I would have thought about it, if I would have visualized this type of shot and tried to see what the cue ball does with follow, I would have might seen that the cue ball goes towards here. And that way I can actually adjust. I can just add a bit more right spin to the cue ball and bring it a bit more to this path, and that way I have a nice shot on the 8 ball. This is why it's so important to visualize every single shot, because you wanna first of all get a rough idea of what the cue ball does course, you want to see the object ball drop, and then maybe you're adjusting your idea with adding a bit of right spin, bit of left spin, bit high and low, and just change the cue ball's path a little bit. But by just playing it blindly, you won't learn anything. This is why it's so important. And the good thing about this mindset is that a shot won't be good or bad anymore. If you're playing a shot, you're visualizing it a certain way and it happens exactly how you visualized it, well, you confirm it in your mind. You have the knowledge that you're just confirming. But if it happens in a bit different way, you can actually override the wrong information in your mind. And with every single shot, no matter if you're missing the shot, if you're missing position, you will learn something new. So no shot is good or bad anymore. Every single shot that you're playing is a learning experience. And with every single shot, you're getting closer and closer and closer to learning more about the cue ball, to becoming more accurate in your cue ball control, and just to become a better player. What you will see me doing now is a huge part of my practice routine. I'm doing this in every single practice session for at least 30 minutes, and it really sharpens my stroke, my cue ball control, and my speed control. So I'm setting a shot up on the table that I want to practice. So let's use this again, very similar to the one we had. Then I'm just using my chalk and placing it on a spot on the table that is natural to reach. This is very important. So for example here, that I'm trying to visualize, execute the shot, compare it with the outcome and learn from it. So here I'm probably trying to go 4 rails, use that one and then go nicely into the line of the chalk. So let's see how close we actually get here. And the line looks really good. You can see the cue ball goes perfectly into the line of the chalk. Well, I'm off by that much, but I think this is fine. And as long as you're going the right path, this is totally fine. This is really great if you're actually coming into the line of the chalk. So this was just a tiny bit too soft, but I'm totally fine with that. If you want to, you can repeat it over and over again, but I'm just going to show you a couple of more shots. What I also like to do is use pocket hangers, for example here. Let's try to bring the cue ball towards here. Here, of course, it's very important if you're actually hitting the right part of the pocket you want to hit, because this changes the outcome really a lot of the cue ball. And this looks pretty good. Again, the cue ball is traveling perfectly into the line of the chalk. Again, a bit too short, so I know on this table I have to hit a bit harder than I actually thinking. Of course, your stroke can also be off. You just decelerated a bit, or you were just off a bit with your spin, then your stroke is the fault and not your knowledge about the cue ball. So, another shot that I really like to practice and really comes up very often when you're playing pool is this one. So just one rail, second rail going into the line of the chalk, that would be perfect. Well, a bit more left spin would have been fine here. So I know again I'm off by that much. This is okay in this case, but with a bit more left spin the cue ball would have been here. So I actually learned something. Of course, the part of the pocket that you're hitting is also very important. This is also a shot that is really important that I like to practice a lot. So you're not having a lot of angle. Just going to follow one rail, bring the cue ball to the chalk. So here it's very important that you use the right amount of left or right spin and just high. So this is a huge shot that I'm struggling, to be honest, a bit at the moment. Here I think high, tiny bit of right spin. Well, the path looks okay. Again, a bit too soft, so let's do that again. If we find a ball. So this is, by the way, another really important shot, because it happens very often that you have that angle and you have to bring the cue ball exactly into a certain line from that rail. So let's try that again. I know I have to hit a bit harder and a bit less right spin then. Okay, speed is fine. Here a bit more right spin would have been nice. So again, I'm learning from that. And as you see, I'm not judging what I'm doing here positively or badly, because on every single shot, I'm just learning. Let's do it one more time. This looks nice. Nice path. Nice speed control. Finally a close one. So keep in mind, visualization is really, really important. Not only to have a clear image in your mind that you can try to reproduce, but also to improve. If you're not visualizing, you will never know how close you actually come to what you were trying to do. Of course, it works. It works some cases. You will get a nice position. You will maybe even run out racks, yes. But sometimes you just need pinpoint position. Sometimes you just need to know the exact path that the cue ball is going to travel and bring the cue ball exactly that path. This is why it's so important to just visualize on every single shot. And don't see it negative or positive. Every single shot you're playing will make you better and better and better, and make you a great player in the end. Okay guys, if you enjoyed this video, leave a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, ring the bell notification to never miss a video. And that's it for today. Huge thank you goes out to my sponsors, to every single one of you who is supporting me. Thanks for watching guys, and as always, see you at the next lesson. Take care.